Okay, hello friends. Today we will be discussing the next topic of microbiology, that is about the Mycobacterium leprae, which causes the disease leprosy. So let us start. Is the screen visible to everyone? Okay. Is the screen visible? Okay. So friends, today talking about Mycobacterium leprae. This Mycobacterium leprae, also known as Hansen's bacillus. Hansen's bacillus. This bacillus, Mycobacterium leprae, causes a disease, that is leprosy. And this leprosy also gets the same name, that is Hansen's disease. Hansen's disease. Okay. So in the society, also in the this is a social stigma in some societies. In the past, some people are having some superstitious beliefs about it. So, but according to medicine, disease is a disease. There is nothing like that. There is some sort of a diseased person should be discriminated, or a diseased person should be a patient should be discriminated of any of the disease he is having. So disease is a disease, and the task of a doctor is just to alleviate, to remove those symptoms of to get that patient free from that disease. That is the purpose. So here we will be learning about the microbiology part of the leprosy. Otherwise, it also is a part of medicine. It's a part of dermatology. It's a part of community medicine. So here we are discussing about microbiology. I will also try to give you some clinical edge of this disease. Okay. So what lesions will tell you that this is this type of a leprosy and this type of leprosy. So I will try to make it integrated, because most of the exams today are going to be clinically oriented. So we will try to make it something like that. So Mycobacterium leprae is a bacillus which is known as Hansen's bacillus, is causing Hansen's disease. So this Hansen's disease, before going into it, I want to tell you, it grows. You can't culture it. I had taught you in the Koch postulate, isn't it? In the Koch postulate, Robert Koch, isn't it? I told you that we can't culture it. You give it a media, you can't culture it. Mycobacterium leprae, we can't culture it. So it grows into this is a 9-banded armadillo. This is a 9-banded armadillo. Okay. This is a 9-banded armadillo. So armadillo in the foot pad of this, it grows in the foot pad of this. And also it is said that in the, it has been seen that it also grows in the foot pad of mice. Okay. So armadillo, you have to remember these two. Okay. So what is the basic idea behind this now? This is now the causative way. So what is it? What is special about this bacteria? The Mycobacterium leprae, it grows at 30 degrees centigrade. The best temperature you can give it is 30 degrees centigrade. Okay. So that means this is below our core temperature, isn't it? It's below a 37 degrees centigrade, isn't it? Guys, isn't it? You have a 37-degree normal temperature, and I'm telling you it is growing at 30 degrees. So as a logic, as a natural, average, even average IQ, can you think that this will grow in the cooler parts of the body? Do you think this bacillus should grow in the cooler parts of the body? Do you think that this bacillus should grow in the superficial parts of your body, so that it can have a less temperature there? Do you think, guys, reply me, do you think that the lesions which this bacteria will be producing, I am telling you, it is growing at 30 degrees centigrade. Your body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. Now this is less than this. This is less than this. Okay. So don't you think that this bacteria will localize to the cooler parts of your body. We are not getting your responses in the microbiology group. We want a clear understanding of this. Once you understand this, then you can think, yeah, lesions will be at this point, this point. So don't you think that your, for example, if I give an example, your nose, that is superficial. Your nose is superficial, isn't it? It's, somewhat outside. It's more exposed to the environment. So don't you think the bacteria should reside there? The lesion produced by this bacteria should be produced there. Yes, it will be produced there. So that's why the lesions of leprosy are seen in the nose, are seen in the ear lobes. Let us make a something ornament, ear lobes. Okay, testes and liver also. This is a beautiful concept about this, and it is also producing lesions in the cooler nerves. What are the cooler nerves? Superficial cooler nerves. Superficial cooler nerves means nerves of ulna, nerves of face, that is facial nerves. Can have many examples. So it does not, it can produce lesions. I'm not saying it can, but I'm saying the most prominent lesions, very nice favorable environment is given by these sites, that is ear lobes, nose, testes, liver, ulnar nerve, facial nerve. Okay. And I told you it is best, where will you cultivate it? Best cultivation will happen in the armadillo, or also sometimes they will be writing, they will be giving you an example. Yeah, but still it has been seen. Okay, it has been seen, liver. Okay, so that's why I mentioned it. Okay, that's why I mentioned it, because sometimes they put an objective like that and you will get confused. So everything is not in medicine. We go on a principle of EBM, that is evidence based medicine. We study, medical doctors, we study evidence based medicine. Whatever we see, whatever we have seen, whatever we have, in the survey, in a population group, we have seen something, we study that disease pattern, we study that disease transition, and on the basis of that we say that a thing can happen like this. Okay. So is everyone able to understand? Please, everyone should reply me. Everyone. Why only less people are replying? What happened? Just a second. You're right. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, it's okay, okay. So some people, some places you are not able to use. Okay, it's okay. I can understand. So see, okay, fine. So these are the sites. And another thing is that they may put some objective uh, in the exam. They will write which of the following is can be used. So they will ask which place is the best to cultivate. Say, armadillo. Which other places can it cultivate? So you should not forget. I have told you already the mouse food pads, nude mice, nude mice, or also in the thymectomized mice, thymectomized mice. Okay, so he can ask like this. Okay, basically it has been seen who is responsible for the pathogenesis of Hansen's disease. Biochemically, they have isolated a protein from them, a glycolipid. The bacilli is having a glycolipid. That glycolipid is known as phenolic glycolipid 1. Phenolic glycolipid 1. This is also known as PGL1. This phenolic glycolipid has been found to cause, this is responsible for this Hansen's disease. Okay. Long time back, I had taught you in dermatology, not dermatology, actually in the skin histology, that there was a concept of doubling time, isn't it? There was a concept of doubling time. Like that way, that concept is same applied here. The bacilli, the doubling time of a bacilli, the doubling time for Hansen's bacilli is how many days? The doubling time for this bacilli is how many days? So answer would be 11 to 13 days, and in between will be the average, that is 12 days. Okay, 11 to 13 days and 12 days. Okay, friends, how we will understand? So, what happens in this? We have to go into the clinical features, isn't it? So, we have to go into the clinical features of this disease. Okay, so most important. Okay, society. Okay, let me write like this. So, clinical features. So, clinical features of this disease. I told you already that it is going to the cooler parts of the body, but it can affect any organ. It can also affect the bone. It can cause bony deformities. It can cause disfigurements. Okay. And it has a very long incubation period. I have told you incubation period, the definition already. So it has a very long incubation period, and if you take an average, that is around 3-4 years. So 3 to 5 years is the average incubation period of Mycobacterium leprae. Okay. Basically what is happening is, I told you why this is 3 to 5 years, because the doubling time for the bacilli is first the 12 to 13 days. The reasons for this long incubation period, 3 to 5 years. The reason for this incubation period is because there can be many reasons, but one reason is uh, the doubling time, that is the generation time, is 12 to 13 days. Second thing, it has two forms. This leprosy is having two forms. One is lepromatous leprosy, and another is tuberculoid. There are others also. So here I want to say, the lepromatous leprosy, the patients which come to us with lepromatous leprosy have been found to have a longer incubation time. So lepromatous leprosy is having a longer incubation time than the tuberculoid leprosy. Okay. Now, the clinical classification of leprosy, there were many classifications. There was a first classification, that is Ridley-Joplin classification. Okay. Let me write. The clinical symptoms were classified on the basis of some classifications. Let me talk about the first classification, that is Ridley-Joplin classification. Ridley-Joplin classification took into account four criteria. He said, first he took is clinical, second was bacteriological. This was a slit skin smear, SSS, slit skin smear. Third, histological or skin biopsy. And fourth was lepromin testing, that is immunological testing. Okay, immunological, that is lepromin test. Okay, based on these four, please listen, they directly tell you that it is lepromatous leprosy, borderline lepromatous, borderline leprosy, borderline tubercular leprosy, but you should know the background, why they are, on the basis of what they are classifying. They are taking into account the 4 criteria, that is clinical, that is bacteriological, that is slit skin smear, SSS, triple S, histological, that is skin biopsy, and immunological, that is Lapramine testing. Now, on the basis of all these 4 criterias, now they will classify the leprosy into 5 types. It will classify the leprosy into 5 types. How we able to understand? So the classification of leprosy is 5 types. What are the 5 types of leprosy? They have classified on the basis of clinical, bacteriological, histological, and immunological criteria. The 5 types are: first one is Lepromatous leprosy, or let me start with TT. So TT is tuberculoid leprosy. Second, BT is borderline tuberculoid. Then BB is borderline. That is borderline leprosy. You can also say borderline leprosy. Then, yes, BL. What is BL? Borderline Lepromatous leprosy. Then fifth is, what's fifth one? LL. LL is Lepromatous polar, or they also write LL polar. Okay, these are the 5. Okay, you know, there is another pole between the 4, that is called LL subpolar. Okay, between LL and BL there is also one pole, that is, they call it what? I will be telling you what it is. LL subpolar. Okay, so first, how will you remember? First you write TT, then BT, then BB, then BL, then LL small s, then LLP. Okay, T is tuberculoid, this I have written. BT is, see, you know, if I say 2 statements, let us make you understand 2 statements which you will be coming across in this. I won't be talking about all these because I think I have talked from a medicine point of view. I have written this from a medicine point of view. But here we have to learn the microbiology. So I will keep it limited to 2. I will teach you the difference between the 2, Lepromatous leprosy and tuberculoid leprosy. Okay. So see, listen first. Just listen. Is it audible? Is it audible? Okay. Now listen to me. Have your ears toward me. See, you will have 2 statements coming, you know, not only in this disease, sometimes in many diseases. The statement is paucibacillary, multibacillary. Pauci, how to remember pauciless? Pauci means less. When I have less bacilli load. When I am having a less bacillary load, I will say paucibacillary. When I have a less bacillary load, I will say paucibacillary. When I have more bacillary load, can we understand the word load? Like you are putting the voltage at home, load. Exactly like same, when you're putting more things, load, more bacillary load, multibacillary. Less bacillary load, paucibacillary. How we will understand, guys? Pauci means I have less bacillary load. Multi means I have more bacillary load. Okay, this is also done. Now, tuberculoid is a paucibacillary. Can I write PB? And in this case, remember, it's a medicine point of view. Just have to note it here. You will understand this better in medicine. Just giving you a correlation clinically. Possibacillary has a slit skin smear test negative. So this is having a skin smear test which is negative. It has a skin smear test which is negative. Okay. Okay, guys. How to remember this? This is how I remember. Okay. This I'm making it very much easy. How I remember. These all are lepromatous. They are broadly coming in what under what heading? Lepromatous leprosy. They are coming in lepromatous. Remember this concept. They are coming under lepromatous. This was under tuberculoid. This was under tuberculoid. Now BT is a possibacillary. BT is a possibacillary. Again, possibacillary. This was also possibacillary. That means SS will be, but I want to tell you one thing here. It can be possibacillary also and it can be multibacillary also. So you should not write only possibacillary. You should write possibacillary or multibacillary. Should write like this. Now tell me, if it is possibacillary, SSS will be dash. SSS will be dash. Possibacillary, SSS will be dash. Skin smear slit test. Very nice answer. It will be negative. It will be negative. Multibacillary, SSS will be dash. Multibacillary, SSS will be dash. Beautiful answer. Then it will be a positive test. Are we able to understand? Now I am telling you lepromatous leprosy is multibacillary. It is multibacillary. If I am saying it is multibacillary, that means SSS should be dash. Skin slit smear test. Slit skin smear test should be dash. That's a beautiful answer. That's positive. Okay. Have you understood what we mean by this, all this? Okay. Now, the disease which we are having, sir, why you are saying this? See, basically leprosy is a bipolar disease. We have two poles. Take these as one pole. Okay. Pole at your home. Something like that. Not, don't think, sir, pole pe leprosy. No. I'm saying two ends we are taking. So it's a bipolar disease. Leprosy is a bipolar disease. Now, extremes of this disease, you make any combination, you make any permutation, you make LL, BL, BB, BT, TT, you make any GT, GTA, Vice T game, anything. The thing is, extremes of the poles should be, always extremes of the pole will remain the same. That is, lepromatous, tuberculoid. Lepromatous, tuberculoid. Lepromatous, tuberculoid. Can we understand? Whatever is going on between, you can have many combinations. Okay. Now, there are other varieties. There is something which is coming in the borderline. There is some symptoms which are coming in the borderline. What is borderline? First, I want to tell you what is borderline. Borderline type is a patient is coming to you and he is having the features both of tuberculoid type of leprosy and also of lepromatous type of leprosy. So if you are having both the features, we say it is a borderline leprosy. We say it is a borderline leprosy. Are we able to understand? We are giving you every concept here. We are giving you every concept here from medicine, from everything. Try to understand. Okay. So borderline is something which is possessing a patient, possessing the features of both or between. The features is in between tuberculoid and lepromatous type. So that means, can I say it will depend on my drug therapy whether I will put the patient, I can shift a patient from tuberculoid to lepromatous type. That will depend on the nature of my therapy, isn't it? The chemotherapy, the drugs which I am giving, dapsone, etc., whatever else, rifampicin, it will depend on my therapy. So if a person is at the borderline, see, these are the two poles. This is borderline, this is tuberculoid, and this is a borderline patient. Now, whatever therapy I give, that will show that a patient is going into tuberculosis or into borderline. How will you understand? Okay. So, or also on the immune status of the patient. It will also depend on the immune status of the patient, isn't it? Okay. It will depend on the, because the disease, what, on the basis of what you are able, what, how you are doing this BT, TT, BB, BL, LL. It is on the basis of immune response by the patient. Okay. Some patient may go to more disastrous, variety of leprosy, depending on their immune response. If you have an excellent immune response, you will have TT. If you have extremely poor response, you will have LL. Are we able to understand? So if patient is coming to me LL, I will say you have a poor immunity. You have a poor immunity. If you have TT, you will have stable. You are stable. You are excellent immune response. Are we able to understand? Okay. So this concept is very much, people try to confuse these things, but it is so much clear that we have to remember that, yeah, I have to take into account the immunity. I have to take into account the two poles. Okay. Now, second thing I have to tell you, there is another type of leprosy, that is indeterminate type. That is indeterminate. This was about borderline. Indeterminate. Indeterminate is also known as, you can also call it indeterminate leprosy or indeterminate Hansen's, isn't it? You can also call it indeterminate Hansen's, where you are able to see those faint hypopigmented, ill-defined patches on the zygomatic area. And patient is showing us a normal sensation. Patient is showing us a normal sweating. And if I say he is having indeterminate leprosy. Now, indeterminate Hansen's, I am using this word clinically when I am saying faint hypopigmented. But when I say indeterminate leprosy, no, can you understand this thing? So clinically you can use the word indeterminate Hansen's. Okay. So let me now write something about indeterminate type. Indeterminate type is, indeterminate is equal to unstable. First word you have to remember like this. These are those unstable patients who have, because leprosy have, I will be teaching you in the ongoing discussion. Just remember that there is something sort of a lesion disease. There is a disease which is having some lesions. Okay. Take this much right now. It's a disease which is having some lesions, which we will be discussing in detail. So in this indeterminate type of a disease or unstable, in this type of a disease, the patients, these are those unstable cases which have one hypopigmented macule or two hypopigmented macule, and they have a sensory problem also, sensory nerve problem also. Okay. So what is indeterminate type of? Indeterminate means I'm not able to determine. So indeterminate type of Hansen's means when I am having a patient, unstable patient, who is having one or two hypopigmented macules. I have taught you everything about macules, papules, papulosquamous rash, everything. Squamo, everything. Squamous, I have taught you. So hypopigmented macules and sensory impairment. Remember like this. Okay. Please reply me on the group. Okay. Reply me on the group, not on the live classroom. Okay. So hypopigmented macules, sensory impairment. Okay. There is also another type of leprosy, that is pure neurotic type. Pure neurotic type. The pure neurotic type, neuric means, yeah, sir, neuron. So patient will have neural involvement, but no skin lesion. And the interesting fact about these two patients is the indeterminate type of patient is bacteriologically negative. Bacteriologically negative, and pure neurotic type patient is also bacteriologically negative. Okay. So you have to remember these varieties of leprosy, which can have borderline type, indeterminate type, and pure neurotic type. So let us give you a clear distinction. Let me tell you like this. Let me tell you like this what is happening. Uh, See, once the person is exposed, let me tell something about its pathogenesis for you, okay, so that you can have at least an idea what is happening. Actually, it's a very big disease. You know, you have to understand it's in the immunology part also how a T cell immunity is doing this, but I will try to give some insights about it. See, this is a person and he gets contacted with this, exposed to this organism. Okay, so Mycobacterium leprae. Okay, not all will be getting the disease. Only some percentage, 10% will get the disease. And what will the person present to you with? He will present to you with hypopigmented patch. Hypopigmented patch with normal sensations. With normal sensations. Nerves will also be normal. Nerves will also be normal. This is called DASH. This concept is called DASH. Yes, my friends, this is called DASH. This is called indeterminate Hansen's. Indeterminate Hansen's. That's why I have told you things can be asked in various ways. Indeterminate Hansen's. Okay. So now there may be resolve also. Patient may self resolve also. Okay. But some patients will go into what? They will go into leprosy types. They will go into leprosy types. They will go into leprosy types. On the basis of what? That's an important factor. What will determine the leprosy type? It will be on the basis of immune response. It will be on the basis of immune response. So on the immune response, you will be getting those 5 varieties. Okay. Are we now able to understand why we made those varieties in the beginning? So you can have a TT. First, I should make borders. TT and LL. Lepromatous leprosy, tuberculoid leprosy. Now I put in the center borderline, BB, borderline. Okay. Guys, are we able to understand? Are we oriented? Okay. Then I can have borderline lepromatous. I should write from this side borderline lepromatous, or I can have borderline tuberculoid. I can have borderline tuberculoid, and I can also LL. I have taught you subpolar. There can be subpolar also, isn't it? So how you have to remember? First you draw TT, then you draw LL, then you make borderline BB. Then before BB, this combination makes BT. No, something sort of a mathematics or nothing, common sense. BT, this becomes BL, and this is LL. Okay, it's easy. So TT will be dash. TT will be dash. Yes, guys, contribute. TT will be dash. Okay, very nice. SS. Okay, but what is it? I want actual. Something. What you understand from this? That's okay. Everything is okay. SS negative, positive, slurry. That's okay. Yeah. So what? So what? Yeah, you are going. Yeah, Sana, going towards nice. Yeah. So good immunity. So what? So these are stable. So stable leprosy. So we call stable leprosy. Okay, and it is PB also. I taught you it is PB because you have excellent, beautiful immune response. Okay, so LL should be what? We should draw the first, make easy things. Immunity extremely poor. Poor. So what? Multi-bacillary. So stable also. This is also stable. This is also stable. Which of the following stable? Because these are the poles. These are the poles stable. So who are going to be unstable? Unstable. These are going to be unstable. Now it will depend. Borderline. So borderline is, now you can say like this, BB is poor immunity. So MB, poor immunity, MB. This can be PB or MB. What is PB, MB? Multibacillary, paucibacillary we are talking. Okay. BL can be what? Extremely poor. If extremely poor, then MB. If extremely poor, then MB. LL is again extremely poor, so MB. Are we understanding? Okay. Okay, friends. So is there any doubt? So remember, stable. So guys, are we able to understand? Okay, is the screen visible? So depending on this immunity we have read here, depending on this immune response, we are seeing the various types of TT, BT, BL, BL, LL, LL, isn't it? So now see, LL, the more you are going towards LL side, remember, the more you are going towards the LL side, the more you are going towards the LL side, this is the downgrading direction. This is the downgrading direction. Okay. So what is actually happening? I want to tell you. See, if I say someone has TT, you should remember he has a very nice T cell response. If I say something is dash, if something is T cell immunity, then I should also call it type 4, isn't it? Cell mediated immunity. Can I say it as cell mediated immunity? Yes, I can tell it. So now, from the concepts of pathology, we know that, or from the physiology also, once we see an infection, macrophages will come around it and they will try to limit the spread of the infection and they will try to start that inflammatory response. So do you think that there should be a formation of something, a granuloma, collection of those macrophages, those foam cells? Do you think that they should surround this infection? So do you think that in the TT, the patient should have a tubercular granuloma? If I go into the microscope of that lesion, the patient should have tuberculoid granuloma. There should be a tubercular granuloma. And not only this, T cells will try their best to kill this bacilli. They will try their best to kill this bacilli. Okay. So that's why we say TT is a paucibacillary leprosy. Are we able to understand? The reason. See, first I did not tell you the reason because I knew that you will get confused. It's not that less bacilli are doing something. It's that the immune response is such that they are killing the bacilli and I am having the less bacilli now. See, my dears, you had a bacillary infection and I have, for example, many bacilli. And now I had a T cell response. This T cell response will kill them. Do you have less bacilli or not? You have less bacilli now. That's why we call it paucibacillary. That's why wherever you find a very nice, that's why I was telling you. See, there was a concept behind this, why I was playing this game. The game was, I was saying TT is PB, BT is MB or PB, BB is MB, BL is MB, LL is MB, LL is MB. Are we able to understand why I was doing that? Your mind was not knowing that, but I am telling you again here. T cell response is nice. Efficiently killing these people, you will have a paucibacillary leprosy. While as in the TT, where is TT? Not TT, we have discussed TT, LL. In the LL, if I go on this side of the pole, LL is having a poor immunity, a poor T cell response, a poor T cell T helper cell response that I can also call TH1 response. Once I have a low TH1 response, that means I won't be able to kill more bacilli. That means I will have a more bacillary load remaining there. But I want to tell you, in the LL, there is absent T cell immunity, but also there is a high B cell immunity. That is TH2 cellular response is high. But B cells cannot kill the bacilli from the knowledge of immunology. I am telling you, in the LL, T cell immunity is poor, but B cell immunity is high. But the problem is B cell is not able to kill the bacilli. B cell is not able to kill the bacilli. Since B cell is not able to kill the lepra bacilli, what will happen? You will have more bacilli, and they will get into the macrophages and they will remain there like that. That means LL should be taken as multibacillary leprosy. Now, these combinations where you are finding the macrophages having these numerous bacilli, these cells become foam cells. These cells are called foam cells. Are we getting the response? Are we getting the concept? What is it? That's why we say, now if I tell you sometimes in day, I wake you up at night. I tell you, okay, wake up, wake up, wake up. Sanna, wake up. Sharia, wake up. Everyone wake up. And then I tell you, tell me, TT is multibacillary or paucibacillary? Tuberculoid leprosy is multibacillary or paucibacillary? Beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. Paucibacillary. It is paucibacillary because, sir, it has an intact T cell mediated response. If I have an intact Th1 cellular response, I will be able to kill more amount of the bacilli. That means I will be remaining with less bacilli. That means I will be a paucibacillary leprosy. Paucibacillary. But same does not hold true for the LL polar. The LL pole is having an extremely poor immune response. That means there will be no T cell mediated response, that is TH, but there will be a B cell mediated response. But sir, B cell is not no, it's not of any use because it won't be able to kill the bacilli and you will be remaining with more bacilli, and that's why we call it is a multibacillary TB. So paucibacillary TT, LL is multibacillary TB. Are we able to understand, guys? So these will remain to us with some foam cells around it because they are not able to kill them, and then they will see them as a foam cells. And remember, my dear, if you are not able to, TT was having a nice immunity, but if you are not able to give a nice treatment at this point, if you are not able to intervene, if you are not able to give an appropriate and efficient medical intervention at this moment, then the person will start going towards the downgrading direction, that is the LL. That means they should also give me an insight of something, that if a thing is progressing towards the LL, if a thing is progressing towards the LL, that means I should have less number of tubercular granulomas. That means I should have more amount of foam cells on histological basis, isn't it? So once you are going towards the downgrading pattern, you will be having more amount of tubercular granulomas. Wrong answer, sir. Less number of tubercular granulomas, but foam cells will increase on histology. And TT is a stable leprosy. It does not downgrade. That's why I told you it's stable. See, my dears, my every word is now going to make a meaning because I have given you reasons. I just wanted to make a question mark in your brain. That's how the psychologically we work. I wanted to make a psychologically a question mark on you, that why it is stable and why. You may have thought, sir, why you wrote stable. I'm not able to get that. Right now I'm telling you why is it. First you have to remember TT is having a nice immunity. I'm taking that as stable in that way. But these are transient forms, BT, BB, BL, LL. Take these four forms as transient form means they can downgrade towards lepromatous pole. Are you able to understand? But remember one thing, I want to give you a concept that is written by, it was written by 3 books from dermatology. That is, Fitzpatrick is also writing, Rooks is also writing, and Bologna is also writing. In their standard, these are basically the standard textbooks of dermatology, or also in the liver. He says that the downgradation is happening only till what? LL subpolar. Downgradation happens only till this point. Downgradation happens only till this point. Subpolar. So remember this concept, LLP. You should write like this for yourself, LLP. Okay. How will you understand, guys? Now, you were telling, sir, from the BT, you said TT is stable. TT is immunity is good. Now, BT, I said it can be PB or MB. It will depend. Immune response is not so much good. In BT, immune response is not so much good. In BB, immunity is poor. In BL, immunity is extremely poor. In LL, immunity is more extremely poor. And I'm telling you, it is downgrading towards LL. So if I am giving a treatment, anti-leprosy treatment, anti-leprosy, anti-mycobacterium treatment, can I say that I am going towards upgradation because I am improving the immunity? Can I say when I am giving a treatment, I am going towards upgradation? I am going towards upgradation. This type of concept, now listen to this word, this type of concept, when I am able to increase the T cell immunity, once I have intervened at a particular point, that is I have given the treatment, this concept is known as type 1 lepra reaction. This concept is known as type 1 lepra reaction. This concept is known as type 1 lepra reaction. Are we able to understand, guys? If B cell immunity, if B cell immunity is improving after treatment, if B cell immunity is improving after treatment, we say it is a type 2 lepra reaction. We say it is type 2 lepra reaction. Okay. And that's what has been seen. And that's what has been seen. It has been very nicely, it is nicely understood that once we are treating the BT and BB varieties, once we are treating the BB and BB varieties, it has been seen that T cell immunity has increased, and that is they will show dash type of reaction. If I'm intervening at BT/BB and I'm giving what? The treatment, it has been seen they will produce dash type of reaction. What type of reaction? Type 1 lepra reaction. That's a beautiful answer. And in the LL type, I am giving what? Not going towards LL, I should say LLs, isn't it? So if I am giving treatment in LL, it has been seen that B cell immunity has increased, and this will show dash type of reaction. This will show dash type of reaction. Beautiful answer. It's a type 2 lepra reaction. Type 2 lepra reaction. Okay. If you tell me, sir, who, let me make a thing for you. If I ask you, if you ask me, sir, who is the worst of both worlds? Who is the worst of both worlds? Which variety is worst of both worlds? It is BL. 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 This BL is the worst of both worlds. It has, why this happens, sir? It has been seen that some patients of BL, their T cell increases on treatment. That is, their type 1 lepra reaction increases. But it has been shown also that some patients will show you what? B cell upgradation. That is type 2 lepra reaction. But in short, TT and LP are stable. They won't show any reactions. Remember, TT and LL, they won't show any reactions. That's why we call it stable poles. Is everything meaningful now or not? Okay. Can I draw some mind map for you so that you can have a nice understanding? Can I have a mind map for you so that you can have a nice understanding? So can I write like this? BT goes BB goes BL goes LLS. Can I say this is downgradation pattern? Can I say this is downgradation pattern? This is a downgradation pattern. Can I say LL going towards BL, going towards BB, going towards BT, going towards TT? Can I say it is upgradation pattern? Okay. Now I make like this. Now I'll be making like this. Now I am saying at this moment, going from LL to BL, going from LL to BL, I have dash type of lepra reaction. It has been seen that there was B cell. There was B cell upgradation. Which type of reaction? That's a beautiful answer. It's type 2 Lepra reaction. So then it was seen that BL to BB, there was both B cell, T cell also. So I can say type 1, type 2, type 1, type 2. Okay. Then they saw that from BB, let me change the color. From BB, there is BB to BT. BB to BT means T cell. So it's easy to remember, isn't it? BB to BT, upgradation T cell. T cell is dash reaction. T cell is dash reaction, type 1. Then they saw BT to TT, T cell reaction, type 1 cell. Is there any doubt in this concept of upgradation and downgradation? Tuberculoid granuloma will be seen in dash from which of the following? Tuberculoid granuloma will be seen in dash. Beautiful answer. That's TT. Tuberculoid granuloma starts decreasing on upgradation or downgradation. TT granulomas. Beautiful answer. Downgradation. That's a beautiful answer. Okay. I hope there is no, some people start fearing this concept. Do you think that it was something tough? It was based on concepts. It was based on concepts. Okay. Okay. Again, I take indeterminate Hansen's. I told you indeterminate Hansen's means I was not able to determine what is the response of the body towards. It was a very nice. I was not able to, it's an unstable. That's a beautiful answer. I was not able to know what is the response, what appropriate response is being given. See, if you are here able to understand these concepts, you will have an edge in medicine, in dermatology, in community medicine. So if you are able to understand the pathology, pathophysiology, then it will be easy. Okay. So, in the early patient is coming to us with, I told you that indeterminate Hansen's disease is coming. Now, some patients will self-heal, but some patients will start going downgrading. TTBTLL. Now, what is the what is the feature of indeterminate Hansen? What is the feature of indeterminate Hansen? Indeterminate Hansen patients will come to us with what? So what are the features, clinical features of indeterminate Hansen? Indeterminate Hansen patient will come to you with a solitary, ill-defined, hypopigmented, macule, or can be patch. On what site, sir? Site. Site will be on cheeks. Now, if the examiner is asking you, I will be telling you, if the examiner is asking you 4 options and he asks cheeks, arms, sole, buttocks, not sole. So these are the sites where you can see. So I will put them in a order, some order. Cheeks, arms, CATB. Okay. So cheeks, arm, thigh, and buttocks. You have to tick what? Usually this happens on the cheeks. So question will be, what about the sensations? What about the sensations in the patient of indeterminate Hansen's? Sensations will be normal. Sensations will be normal. What about the peripheral nerves? What about the peripheral nerves? You have to write no enlargement seen. No enlargement seen. Now going into the histology or patho, what you will see in the histology? You will see periadnexal, perineural, lymphocytic infiltrate. Lymphocytic infiltrate means there will be no granuloma. Okay. And on the biopsy, you will be appreciating what? will be appreciating some amount of paucity bacilli or sometimes no bacilli even. So if they ask you now, let me tell you, if they ask you indeterminate, if they say indeterminate, if they say indeterminate means I am not sure. I am not sure whether, no, I am not sure that what is going to happen. I am not sure what type of response is there. Okay. So is there any granuloma? No granuloma. No granuloma. Okay. I will understand. So I am not knowing. So how will I know that nerve has been hurt? So nerve will be, there will be a normal sensation. Are we able to understand? Okay. I had an image for you, I think. Can we see this on the cheeks of this patient? Can we see the infiltrates here? Okay, let me show you. Which area is this? This is a zygomatic arch. This is a zygomatic arch. So you can see it's not so much prominent. It's something of a faint hypopigmentation. Can we see that faint hypopigmentation? Faint hypopigmentation on the cheeks. Okay, on the zygomatic area. Okay, and this is the histological image. Let us make it big. This is the histological image. If you see the histological image, I can appreciate very nicely what you can appreciate. Yeah, who can tell me? I can see what it is basically a neural image, I think. It's a perineurium image. It's showing perineurium. So I can see what? I can see some stretch. Let me make like this. I can see some stretching. Okay, let me remove this like this. Okay, so I can see some stretching in the perineurium, isn't it? Stretching in the perineurium and also blood vessels. So blood vessels also. So you have to remember that there will be what? Lymphocytes. Okay, so you will be having more amount of lymphocytes. We will understand more amount of lymphocytes. Okay, is there any doubt? No, sometimes what happens is while you go into the medicine in your third year, since you are in your first year, we have differential diagnosis. Anything can come to me with this. It can, there will be three differentials. If you have a hypopigmented patch on your face, it can at least be three things will come into my mind. As a doctor, three things will come into my mind. Either it can be indeterminate Hansen's, either it can be pityriasis alba, or it can be pityriasis versicolor. Okay, don't have to go into that. So you have to remember that it's not that you have to think that it's specific for something. That's why I told you there is a criteria to classify on the basis of clinical, on the basis of biological, on the basis of histological pattern, on the basis of skin biopsy, on the basis of Lepramin testing. Okay, so did you understood this Lepramin testing? So I think we will continue tomorrow further on with this leprosy. I hope you have understood this concept. Okay, so please read the books. Please read the standard textbooks. Make yourself understand. Study today. Don't keep it for tomorrow that I will study tomorrow. Till tomorrow you'll forget. Study today at home. Revise it. Okay. So thank you very much. God bless you and see you in the next video.